Cool.
All right, we are live. Next installment of Mr. Messner's Math in the Real World Speaker Series. My guests today, good friend, go all the way back to elementary school, probably.
Yeah, definitely elementary school, like second grade soccer.
We played soccer together, played lacrosse together. When you used to play basketball, we played basketball together. We swam. My senior year, I was on the swim team.
Senior year.
So we were 3 sport varsity athletes together our senior years. We lost.
I think, let me cut you off. I think our first memory was like a buzzer beater in second grade basketball where like I couldn't even dribble. And I think I sunk one at the buzzer to knock out your team.
I think one of our.
Do you remember that?
Probably. I don't remember that. My earliest go-to Ryan in sports memories was 5th grade track and field day where it's elementary school against elementary school. And we both ran the 400.
Yes.
And
yes.
It came down to the wire. And you really nudged me.
I did. You were in lane 1. You were on the inside.
I feel like you're behind the entire time when you're lane 1. It's
yeah. Nobody had more heart down the stretch. I did not even see you coming. And I remember you crossing the finish line, and I look back and you just kind of collapse. Yeah. Because you
the 400 is exhausting. I don't know
absolutely.
400, it's the worst. The 400.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's terrible.
We lost a state championship together, but we both went on to play college lacrosse. We got lots of memories that go way back. Ryan Clark, say hello to everybody. Where are you video chatting from?
From my kitchen here in Westfield, New Jersey, where Mr. Messner's wife and my wife grew up together.
It's true. And tell me, what do you do? What do you do for a living? Who do you work for?
I work for a firm called Octagon Credit Investors. It's an asset manager. So we manage a portion of the portfolio of large institutions. So, one of our clients, for instance, is Austin-based Texas Municipal Retirement System. They have about $20 billion in assets. And what they do with that is they pay benefits, income to retirees and healthcare benefits to help retirees for the Texas Municipal Retirement System. All their beneficiaries, all the workers that work for, the cities all around Texas. They kind of aggregate funds to help pay the benefits. So what we do, we're not going to manage the entire plan, but oftentimes they'll allocate maybe 1% of their plan to a certain asset class. And we specialize in credit. So
bonds.
No, I can't follow you. I'm on the phone right now. Everybody say hi to Owen. Avery took down the gate.
Yeah, punch her gate.
Yeah.
Hey, Owen.
Mr. Messner says hello. Oh, she did take down the gate. She's so strong.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody say it. This is Jersey strength right here. That's okay. She can go up and down the stairs.
You guys just do credit?
We just do credit. So what we mean by credit is we lend to kind of medium and larger size businesses. Some of them are public businesses. Some of their stocks are publicly traded. I'm sure Mr. Messner, when he was working with his dad, were reviewing some of those stocks, but some of them are private businesses. And so oftentimes they'll come to us and say, hey, we want to borrow $1 billion, and not just from us, but from many asset managers that we compete with. And they say, we want to raise $1 billion to go out and acquire a business that's going to help us grow along the supply chain or, expand geographically. And so, not me personally, but my colleagues, the investment analysts on my team will go out and assess, okay, do we think this business is creditworthy? What are the figures, in terms of their expected income and revenue as a result of this? What kind of costs are they going to be able to save, or what kind of costs are they going to incur? What's the regulatory framework?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work there. And so I was thinking, in this conversation, a lot of my analysts will do a lot of modeling based on, backward looking, balance sheet and cash flow modeling, and then forward looking. We have to put our assessment and our spin on it, and also take into account different situations like COVID-19 and how that's impacting their businesses, right? So it's very valid today.
So you say a lot of your analysts are doing that work.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yep. So me specifically, I work directly with the institutional investors like Texas Municipal Retirement System. And I do a lot of client relationship stuff, but I also try to get new investors on board. So Texas Teachers Retirement System, for instance, is a big retirement system. They're not a client, but we talk to them on a regular basis to try to, educate them on what we're doing and see if it may make sense for them to, give us a portion of their assets.
So you're like a Facebook company. You're traveling. You're meeting with people.
Yeah.
You're talking about all that you can provide as a company. How about that?
Exactly. Business development. What's up, Ave? Oh, Avery. Here, how about milk? There we go. The magic elixir, milk.
All right. Well, talk me through where you went to college. We talked about that.
Yeah.
What you majored in, and then what you did before this job, like all the stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I went to University of Michigan. I majored in economics. To be honest, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into the medical field, and in some ways, let's be candid. I probably am still more passionate about that line. I'd probably be a little bit happier if I stuck with my passion. High school guys, but I ended up down a track, and I felt like I should continue to pursue it in the economics and financial world. Everybody's melting.
It's whenever we're not paying attention to it.
Yeah. And so, I was actually, you remember, shortly after college, I became a financial advisor, and I was, out there as a financial advisor trying to get new clients to help them with managing their own assets and life insurance, et cetera. And that was challenging as a young person to go out and offer financial advice to 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds. After a couple of years of doing that, I felt like I needed to get more experience myself. And so I looked to pivot to stay in the financial world and in sales and business development. But I moved over to a company called Wisdom Tree, which was another type of asset manager. And so I've moved through asset managers, working on the sales side, business development side of asset managers throughout my entire career. From Wisdom Tree, then I moved over to BlackRock, which is the largest asset manager in the world, and then onto Octagon about 5.5 years ago. Hey guys,
experience building on experience, making it more and more attractive to better and better companies that work with
Exactly. So, and pivoted from the retail side, which works more with individuals, to an institutional side, which works more with institutions like foundations, endowments, retirement systems, insurance companies, et cetera. Hey, Lola. Hi. What's happening? Hi. Oh, and Leo, Avery, say hi to Lola.
Hello.
Hey, guys. And Wally wants to say hi, too.
Wally.
Say hi.
What's up, brother? How are you, pal?
We're just eating Play-Doh over here.
Yep.
Hi, Lauren.
And there's Lauren. The gang's all here. Second grade teacher, Lauren.
And family. Listen, put it on YouTube. Whatever. Everybody loves it.
Bring on the zoo. Bring on the zoo. We're live recording for Robbie's for Mr. Mester's students.
Yes, we're talking about math for real world.
Yep.
Things, but whatever. That's cool. So, tell me about math and your job in math.
Absolutely. So I could not tell you 10% of what I learned in high school math because I would say it's not exactly relevant to what I do today. I do a lot of the back of the envelope stuff. So if I'm talking with someone and they say, oh, what's the typical yield on your portfolio? What they mean is for the dollar amount that I'm going to put up, what kind of income can I get? Because we work a lot with fixed income, which means, bonds that pay a coupon. And when you lend to a company, you typically expect to get, all of your money back. So, we're going to lend to that company that's, let's say $100 million, and they're going to pay us 5% each year for the life of the contract. Maybe it's a 5-year contract. Well, the value of bonds over time can fluctuate. So let's say it's, if the value of that bond today is $100, 100 cents on the dollar, and I'm getting a 5% coupon, then it's, I'm getting a 5% yield. But if that bond drops down to 90 and we buy it at 90 and the coupon's 5%, well, the coupon actually just got a little bit more valuable in terms of yield. So because it's 5% over 90 versus 5% over 100. So if I'm talking to somebody to say, hey, we buy in today, what's our yield? Well, okay, let's say there's two years left on the contract, 90, we expect in 2 years for that bond to pull to par from 90 up to 100. Well, over 2 years, you're getting 5 additional points. So you're getting your 5% coupon, and then over 2 years, you're getting 10%. So 5% per year. That's a 10% yield.
You are bringing me back to my college classes as we speak. Bond calculations are always
exactly a lot of bond math, but a lot of back of the envelope stuff off the top of your head, stuff like that. And then just pivoting. Other things that are relevant are, well, I'm in business development. I've got goals, I've got targets. This year I'm supposed to bring in $100 million in assets to the firm. Yep. And what does that also mean in terms of revenue? We've got different products. Some of them are, are high fee products. Some of them are low fee products. So there's a certain amount of revenue I'm expected to generate, and a certain amount of AUM I'm expected to bring in. So
you're doing,
excuse the all of this noise in the background.
You just had a breakdown over Play-Doh over here. So you're doing analysis for your customers, but then you're also doing
yeah, I've got to manage internally inside the firm and externally with customers. Exactly. And we do a lot of stuff with big data, right? So in order to sell, I need to show a lot of trends and historical performance, et cetera. A lot of statistics. Yep. In college, I kind of blew off statistics. I wish I had taken statistics and econometrics. I think that would have really helped me.
Standard deviations and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. I was, believe it or not, last Friday I was going on, Investopedia to look up the true definition of standard deviation, just so I could make sure I had that down, because we were going back internally on how to interpret, some data that was written in a piece. Yeah. And, so yeah, definitely stuff like that. So, fortunately there's a lot of resources out there. So, you can go on the internet and look these things up. You got to be resourceful. But to be honest, it's, very little of what I did in high school.
Yeah. Well, what were you like with math when you were in high school and when you were with college? Like, do you remember, were you good at math?
Yeah.
Did you feel like, I like math, I'm going to do math and things that involve math?
Yes, I liked math, but some aspects, right? So, like algebra and trigonometry, I felt like I was good at. Geometry, for some reason, didn't jive with. And you probably know
everybody I've talked to is like that. They're
okay.
People, not geometry people. My sister.
Well, and there might be. There might be people who are the opposite, right? Where geometry jives, and so I had a tough time with geometry. And then, what was the class you guys took with physics? You guys.
BC Calculus.
Yeah, BC Calc. I didn't go to that level, but I think, thank you, Owen. I think, Owen, we're doing a recording for Mr. Messner's class. Can you please stop? Thank you. This is my 6-year-old. I can level with him.
Yes, that's
my 1-year-old, not so much.
No.
Here, do you want to sit on my lap like Avery?
Yeah. I want to play with the Nintendo Switch.
Okay. Yeah, Nintendo Switch priorities. So, physics, I think would have been a pretty big challenge for me, but like AB Calc, I was pretty good at that. So I'd say, I was more math oriented.
Did you do well on the AP Calculus exam? Did you use those credits in college? Do you remember that?
I do remember. So, this is going to be valuable.
Okay.
I did not do well.
Okay.
I did not use those credits in college.
Okay.
And I ended up having to take a calculus class my senior year in college when I did not want to do that. the spring of my
You didn't
senior
take it
year.
your freshman year? You just said, I'll put this off until your senior
Well,
year?
yeah, like I thought, and I took a class. It gets worse. I took a class in Australia, and I was like, and I took a math class, and I was like, this will qualify. And I brought, and the guy, the teacher or the head of the math department was like, all right, you think this can qualify for your class? Show me the final exam. I showed it to him. He was like, no, you're gonna have to take it. So I got boned, or maybe I did it to myself, because in hindsight, I should have just buckled down and knocked it out and carried those credits and moved on to things that I wanted to do and was more interested. But instead, I had to go back and take calculus in college. Me as a senior with a bunch of freshmen. So,
did you do well in it, or was it like, man, it's been so long since I've done any of this? This is a struggle.
Yeah, I did well enough. I wasn't as dialed in at the time.
Senior year.
Yeah, I probably got, I probably got a B. I couldn't even tell you exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're good at math. You liked math. You end up in a profession that you're doing some math, but it's not crazy mathematics, right?
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, the math is not, again, the detail, the depth that we went into in high school is not relevant to what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis today.
Do you really think you needed that calculus class, like, in life when you got to college?
No. I would have been better off. I mean, you don't know where your career is going to go, right? Had I become an engineer, which I wasn't really geared to that, then it would have been relevant, I think. But, I ended up in the financial world, and, I would have been better off, learning a bit more about finance and a little bit more about, accounting, things like that. Yeah.
So my dad told me this. He's like, calculus has turned into a tough course to show that you are qualified to get a business. Originally, they decided colleges that every business major needed calculus 1 because they were worried about the space race. And they were saying, hey, we need great engineers and everybody needs calculus. So calculus is going to be the one class.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
Very few of us.
Right. Yeah, I almost feel like it's just like a rite of passage now. Like they're just kind of, yeah. But if we, I'm sure you've thought a lot about this, if we really took a hard look at the curriculum and what's relevant, moving forward and into the future based on the jobs that we need across the world, maybe a little bit less relevant.
Now, where did you learn all the math that you use in your finance job? Did you learn some in college, or is it mostly just on the job?
Yeah, good question. So I've learned some of it along the way. I also took, I got kind of an advanced degree, the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst degree, which is, kind of constructed for financial analysts and portfolio managers, which I am not, but I feel like it gives me a leg up in terms of, my qualification. It makes me more attractive to companies if I want to go and switch jobs. And, I feel like it gives me a leg up. It gives me makes me a little bit more established for conversations with clients. But I learned a lot through that process as well. But it has to be reinforced, right? There's a lot that I did learn throughout that process that I don't use on a regular basis that, I learned standard deviation inside and out at that time. And I still had to go back and say, what was that? What was the definition again? And how's it calculated exactly? So a lot of it, look, just because you learn something, you can lose it pretty quickly. You gotta reinforce it.
Ongoing.
Yeah. In order for it to stay fresh. Yeah.
All right. Well, our kids are starting to lose it, so we'll finish up with a couple questions. Yeah.
Starting to lose it. I feel like they've been losing it this entire time. We started with Avery knocking down the gate.
It's true.
Yep.
If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, or if you could give any senior currently one piece of advice relative to math and education,
What, Daddy?
just in terms of life.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, I kind of hinted at it when I was talking about how I was going to go into the medical field potentially, and that was a little bit more my passion. I just say, like, it's never too late to switch. Like, just because you go down one path in college, you're not, you can pivot. It's so early enough. I felt bad because I was taking on student debt, and my parents were helping me pay for some of college, so I was like, I better finish up. And we grew up in Summit, New Jersey, and everyone graduates on time. The social views, screw that. It's all about finding. Everyone says this, but it's so true. Love what you do, and do what you love. And that will make you successful, because that will make you happier at the end of the day. When you come home to your family and your screaming children, you'll at least say, hey, I feel like I did what I love to do today, and now I'm spending time with people that I love. So yeah. And some, look, I love 80% of my job, and I don't love 20% of it. And I think most of the people out there would say that. And some days I'm doing the 20%, and I come home and I'm just like, wow, that was a hard day. But fortunately, I do love 80% of my job. So most of the time, it's all good.
Yeah. So do what you love. Don't feel afraid of pivoting.
Yeah.
Learn most of the stuff along the way. Just make sure you know what you're kind of passionate about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any questions to me about education or anything before I let you go?
Yeah. What's the one thing that you would change about the educational system in Texas?
So I've talked to so many people, and they're like, the math that they do is very simple, very Excel-based, data analytics, data presentation. I would get rid of some of the convoluted math, and we're kind of doing this in my school, but we still could do better. Like, instead of forcing kids to do Algebra 2, trigonometry, you should have more access at lower levels and throughout our levels, Excel-based math, data analysis, data presentation.
Yep.
And you should still have the calculus stuff. There still are engineers out there.
Sure.
It's not that many.
Right. Totally. Big data.
We're trying to push everybody into calculus. It's like, why are you pushing everybody into calculus?
Yeah. Well, and at least I feel like calculus goes, Lawrence cracking the whip.
She's an elementary school teacher. She knows that. Yeah.
I feel like, to your point, it's like, give everyone a flavor. I feel like calculus, like, you took pre-calc, then you took algebra 2 trig, and then it was AB calc, and it's like, how much calculus? Like, why not take one of those? Right. Okay, if someone wants to continue with that, lineage, fine, off into college, but take one of those away and go to Excel-based systems.
But then the problem becomes your school, all schools out there, if you want to be a business major that just uses Excel, you still need calculus 1. So it's like a double-edged sword, which is unfortunate.
Right. Of course.
But that's it. There's a lot. Education lags the real world. It's lagging a lot right now. I think we are starting to move in the right direction, but it takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a slow-moving ship here in the U.S.
Yes, we are. Well, Ryan Clark, thank you so much for your time and for sharing
Thank you, guys.
Your living room of real life Friday vacation day.
Here we go.
With you. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right.
If anybody has questions for Ryan Clark, send them to me. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go Hilltoppers.
Go Hilltop. See ya.